This is the first time I completed Title Basin Legendary mission without my striker build, and I'm surprised how well this build actually performed. I not only got the most kills, but I was just sitting there and picking up all my targets. I mean, look at this weapon, this rifle over here. Look at the stats, the accuracy and the stability, and also the reload speed. Now, if I tell you I was able to achieve this without sacrificing the damage talents on chest piece and backpack, you guys will think I'm lying. No, watch the video and you will learn how to do this as well. And maybe after that, you'll think that you found your next favorite build. Alright, now, so let's talk about the weapon. Why did I choose this weapon and why this weapon is so good that I'm actually using it? Obviously, it's a rifle build, so it is a rifle. And when you say rifle, well, the only thing comes on your mind probably is the classic M1A. We are using M1A, but not the classic variant of it. We're using M1A CQB, which is a semi-automatic rifle, and it's a great rifle. There are so many rifles in the game. If you take a look in your crafting bench, you'll find a bunch of rifles there to craft. I also crafted my rifle as well. However, the M1A CQB comes with a very high RPM, also the total damage. And that's the reason why I actually chose it. And it's actually very stable from the start. So, you know, we don't have to worry about managing it too much. But as you saw, we have insane amount of accuracy and stability anyway, so it doesn't really matter. However, when you're choosing the weapon, do not get confused between the Socom M1A and the M1A CQB because they are pretty identical and also kind of look same, but the stats is different. I mean, the damage, that is. Everything else is similar, like, you know, the accuracy, stability, reload speed, and stuff like that. They're all same. Even the RPM is same. It's just the damage of Socom M1A is lower than the M1A CQB. So do not, you know, fall for the Socom M1A there. Just go the M1A CQB. Now mine says replica because obviously I crafted mine. So yeah. Now, as for the talent of the weapon, well, I chose the lucky shot here. If you want damage talent, you can use damage talent as well. But I do prefer the lucky shots here because you're spamming it a lot. So if you miss your shots, you don't have to worry about missing your, you know, rounds as well. So that's kind of nice. But if you want to add a damage talent, by all means do that if you feel like confident enough of landing every shot, that is. So yeah, you could do that. Now, your secondary weapon doesn't really matter. You could use lefty, you can use an assault rifle if you want, or you can use a Scorpio, you know, exotic. You can use St. Alamo's engine if you want. You can use any weapon you want there. I'm just leaving that option to you. But, you know, lefty would be preferable for throwing the grenades if you're doing that, that is. Now, for the pistol, you can, again, use any pistol you want. If you're not using any exotic in your secondary, you can just use the Bizilil B if you have it. I just don't forget to use that because I usually do forget to use that. It does improve your damage by a lot. So, I mean, even though your build has a crazy amount of damage, having more damage is not a bad thing because everybody likes more damage, right? So, yeah, you could do that. All right, now, let's talk about the gears here. As you see, I'm using all high ends here. I'm not using any exotics, which also going to be helpful for new players. I mean, I don't need it, but if you want to use exotic, you can. That will increase your damage as well, which is good. However, you will lose your weapon stability, so keep that in mind. Now, I'm using two brand sets here, like three-piece sets, basically, to make this build happen. So let's talk about that. The first brand set I'm using is the Overload Armaments, which gives us 10% rifle damage for 1 piece, 30% accuracy for 2 piece, and 30% weapon handling for 3 piece. You see what I'm doing here? We have weapon damage, crit chance, crit damage, and crit damage mod on my mask. Now, the other Overload Ornament piece that I have is the holster, which I have weapon damage, crit chance, crit damage. I kind of wanted to optimize the crit chance, but I am very low on credits here, and that's the reason why. Now, the other Overload Ornaments piece that we have is the knee pads, which is obviously going to be Fox's Prayer, because we get that 8% damage to target out of cover from it, and we have 12% of crit damage rolled onto it as well. Now, for the other high-end set that I'm using, well, it's the new set from this current season, which is the Zoo set. That's what I'm going to call it. I'm not going to pronounce this thing. Anyways, we're getting 15% of magazine size from 1 piece set bonus, which is good because rifle do need that extra mag a little bit, which is nice. We have 20% of rifle damage here as well from 2 piece set bonus. So that means we have 30% of rifle damage in total here with the two brand sets. And we also get 30% of weapon handling, which means we have 60% of weapon handling from 2 band sets. But we actually have more than that, which I'm going to show you in a moment. We have weapon damage, crit chance, crit damage, and crit damage mod here with Obliterate Talent. Now, you could say Obliterate Talent on a rifle build. Are you sure about that? Yes, because it's a semi-automatic rifle, has a higher fire rate, and we have no problem activating the Obliterate there. It's not as fast as Assault Rifle, SMG, and LMG, but it is quite fast enough and you will have no problem activating it. However, if you don't like that, it's okay. You can change it to spotter. For that, you need to use an individual pulse, or you can use the technician specialization to use the laser pointer from the specialization, which you can use it on the weapon that I have, the rifle. You don't have to worry about that. You can actually use it. Now, if you want even more damage and you don't like, don't mind staying scoped in all the time, you can use focus talent because it is a really good damage. However, the only downside is that you have to be scoped in or with the 8x scope all the time. You can also use the name chest piece of this particular brand set, which is going to give you the talent called Perfect Entrench. So whenever you go below 30% armor, you land a headshot, no kills required, just a headshot, and it'll give you 30% of your armor back. So that's pretty cool. And if you want, you can also use, I guess, glass cannon. You know, if you're feeling crazy enough, you could do that. You can also use unbreakable talent as well. It's just, you know, your preference, whatever you want. Do you want more damage or survivability? You know, it's up to you. But I chose the obliterate here because it's working really well for me in this build. Now, the other piece that I have here is the backpack, obviously, which gives us weapon damage, crit chance, crit damage, and crit damage mod. Now, I chose the composure talent here mainly because I'm staying in cover, but also if I'm playing missions that doesn't allow to stay in cover, or there is no cover to take cover, basically, then use vigilance talent. The vigilance talent is awesome. 25% of weapon damage. Just if you get shot, you lose the buff entirely. So I guess try not to get shot, right? You can definitely use that. Otherwise, just use composure, stay in cover. It's always active if you're in cover. You can also use unstoppable force there. However, if you're in playing solo, I highly recommend Bloodsucker. Bloodsucker is what I'm using when I'm playing solo, and I am using this build on open world like control points and heroic missions with 4 directives enabled. I've never done that. I promise you, I've never done a rifle build with 4 directives enabled, and this is absolutely just shredding through them. I could have just activated the 5th directive, but the 5th directive is ammo hoarder, and I need ammo to, you know, take down my target. That's why I didn't do that. But 4 directives is no joke for this build. It's really strong, and Bloodsucker is absolutely keeping me alive with that bunch of stack of bonus armor. So if you're playing solo, Bloodsucker is your friend. You lose the damage, it's okay, because you need to prioritize your survivability when you're playing solo. So Bloodsucker is absolutely going to be amazing for you, right? So that's basically the backpack there. Now, the other set that I have is the gloves, which is the Eagle's Grasp, because that gives us 15% of weapon handling, which, you know, makes us at 75%, right? We have 75% of weapon handling right now, but not just 75%. We have even more than that. Remember, we're using gunner specialization. If you stay stable for even 1 second, whether it's on cover or just by standing still, you gain 10% more weapon handling. So we technically have 85% of weapon handling on this build, which is pretty crazy. And that's what making our weapon hit like a laser without have to worry about, you know, the recoil at all, because you saw that accuracy and stability on the weapon is so crazy, and it also helps you reload your weapon very quickly. So having that weapon handling without sacrificing our damage talent is making this build not just hit hard, but also hit what you want to hit. And even if you miss there, your lucky shot talent will kick in, and, you know, you will not miss your ammo. So you can just keep spamming that, and honestly, it's working really well. I highly recommend playing with this build. You will not gonna get disappointed. You can play your heroic stuff if you want, your bounties, you know, play with directives if you want. You can play your legendary missions with this. I have no problem whatsoever playing legendaries with this. It's just about changing the talent. What talent do you prefer? Whether it's composure, bloodsucker, vigilance, spotter, you know, obliterate, that's the only thing you have to keep in mind. Use the right talent with the right combo, and then you'll see that this build is performing really well for you. But again, if you're playing solo, just use Bloodsucker. Trust me on that. Use Bloodsucker. But yeah, overall, the build is awesome. Now, if I show you my stats, the stats are actually pretty good. Like, we have 48.5% crit chance. I could have had 49%. It's just one of the pieces, 5.5% crit chance. And also, we have 170% crit damage, which is crazy as well. Now, if I show you my accuracy here, we're probably overcapping here, but it's okay. We have a crazy amount of stability here as well. And weapon handling right now, it shows 75% because it doesn't count the gunner's weapon handling stats on the stats, basically. So it's showing 75, but we have 85 there. So yeah, we also have really high amount of damage on the build at the same time. So overall, honestly, the build is great, man. Try it out. You'll know how it is. Now, you could argue and say, you know what? I don't want this much weapon handling. I'm fine with it. Sure, you can change one piece. You can take one piece. Let's say you take the mask off and put Coyote on it. That will give you really high damage improvement. So you could absolutely do that. You can add, let's say, a Grupo piece or Picaro's holster or something like that. You could do that. You could do that. But if you want to hit your targets and you want to stay stable, this is the way to go. If you want more damage and you say that, you know what, I don't have any problems hitting my shots, landing my shots, sure, change one piece, use whatever, you know, gear piece over there you want. It's okay. But if you're playing on a controller or a console, I highly recommend this. Otherwise, your weapon will dance. And if you don't want your weapon to dance, use this. So that's basically for the video. Hope you guys enjoyed it. If you did, leave a like and comment and, you know, subscribe, all of that, because that helps me. And yeah, let me know your thoughts in the comment section. And I will see you guys in the next one. Till then, peace.